Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to be looking at the McFarlane DC Multiverse, Death of the Family, the Joker. This is Joker with his cut-off face. He cut his own face off and is sort of wearing it. It was sort of gimmicky, not something I was ever really a big fan of. It's grotesque, which matches the Joker, but it's definitely not exactly my ideal version of the Joker. I ordered this figure from Amazon.com. It's not available in the US yet. There was a UK seller on Amazon selling for $21.99 plus $2.99 shipping. I have no idea how he's able to ship it for so cheap, but here it is about 2 to 3 weeks later. This guy's supposed to be a Walmart exclusive in the US. Both Walmart.com and Walmart stores have not had it yet. You can't even pre-order them yet. I have seen shelf tags for this guy up for about 3 months now, giving me hope. But after 3 months, the hope has kind of faded away. So let's go and check out the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane Toys, ages 12 plus, DC Multiverse, the Joker. Here he is in the package. He comes with a collector's card, a display stand, and an axe. One side of the package, the Joker from Batman, Death of the Family. Other side, the Joker. At the bottom, got a bunch of credits, and there is a barcode, in case that helps anybody. On the back side, here's the Joker posed up. And here are a bunch of other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures you should check out. So without further ado, let's open them up. And yes, I did get 2 of these figures, one of which to open and enjoy, and the other one to keep unopened in my complete Batman-related 6 and 7-inch unopened action figure collection. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He does come with a display stand, a collector's card, and then an axe. But before we take a look at these accessories, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So here's the Joker from Death of the Family, not to be confused with Death in the Family when Jason Todd got killed. So let's take a look. This is Joker with his face cut off and reattached. You can see his mouth, his teeth are completely exposed. Looks like his face is attached with, I don't know, staples around the edges there. He's got this band, I guess, holding his face up, going around his head. See, it's got this sort of little buckle in the back. Hair looks pretty good. Face, creepy as hell. Dark, sunken in eyes. Face just sort of stretched all over his head. Blue flower, black shirt, green sort of tie there. Purple jacket. The crotch area looks a little rough. It is the exact same body as the 3 Jokers figures. But you know what? It worked for them. It's going to work for this guy too. Double jointed knees, dress shoes, double jointed elbows. The back, you can see the signature purple suit for the Joker. Little flaps here. Not a bad looking figure. Not exactly my version of the Joker, but it's good to have a representation of this in my action figure collection. And just a closer look at his face and head sculpt. Now, I had somebody ask me if the face was simply glued on there, if it could be removed. And it is a possibility, perhaps. You can kind of see the sort of line up here where the face is attached to whatever's underneath there. It looks like the line kind of goes around here. Looks like it's going to fall around his chin area. So if you wanted to heat him up and rip that off, you probably could. But I guarantee it's just some nonsense under there. And while we're on the subject of his cut off and reattached face, it doesn't really make any sense. I guess it's kind of similar to Two-Face. Not only would he have a massive infection from all that exposed muscle under the skin, but how does he even talk with no lips? Yeah, it's a comic book, so you just accept it. But it's preposterous. Now let's take a look at his accessories. And let's start off with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand. Typical McFarlane stand. Black perfect circle. Says DC on the bottom. It's got 1 peg for the pegals on his feet. Very thin. Very basic. Now let's take a look at his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of the Death of the Family Joker. Looks like he's doing some stand-up comedy. Got sort of a curtain behind him. Joker from Batman, Death of the Family. On the back side, there is a description. If you want to read that, go ahead and pause now. And here's his axe. The handle part. Nice little bit of sculpting detail there. Got some wrap at the very bottom. But the top part is the interesting part. It looks like a bat symbol. The blade itself has some damage. It's definitely been heavily used. Here's his axe. Next to the axes it came with the Dark Knight's Metal Batman. And if you put them together, they also look like a bat symbol. Here's the Joker holding his axe. He only has a gripping hand on his right hand, so it's the only way he can hold it. And just a closer look at the Joker swinging his axe. Now they've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories. Now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, he's standing at about 7.2 inches tall, which can translate to about 18 centimeters. Now let's check out his articulation. Starting with his head here. Of course, it can rotate from side to side. He can look up about that far, down about that far. Pretty nice there. Can't tilt his head from one side to the other, giving him a good amount of personality. Shoulders on a ball joint, goes up about 90 degrees, up, down, around, all that good stuff. He's got a butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest area, increasing the range of motion there. Bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbows below that. His wrist can rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. In his torso here, he's got a ball joint, rotate around, go forward and back. Another one in his waist, rotate around, go forward and back, giving him pretty good range of motion in his torso area. His legs completely does the splits, not a ball joint, but a similar type concept. You can see how his diaper area kind of gets sucked in when you do that. Looks kind of bad. Rotation, pretty much non-existent. Legs go forward about that far. Back, not too much. Double jointed knees. Then his ankle here, forward and back. Can't rotate, tilt, rock, and to articulation. Now I wanted to look at the reuse between the Death of the Family Joker and all three of the three Jokers. Now, all three of the three Jokers have the same feet, same legs, same crotch, same torso, pretty much the same arms. I think the Killing Joke one here has slightly different arms because of the jacket sculpt. But they really use almost all the same parts, pretty much with the exception of the soft goods jacket overlay and the head. It's most obvious between these two. So, feet are the same. The legs are the same, the crotch is the same, the hands look like they're the same, arms are the same, jacket is the same, torso is the same. He is 100% the same figure, minus the head, which is considerably different. And in all reality, these guys have pretty much all the same shared parts as well. So we've got the Joker here, and for whatever reason, he thinks it's a good idea to cut off his own face. And you can see, the Joker is just laughing maniacally as he cuts his own face off. No anesthetic, no preparation. He just goes for it. And the Joker has pulled it off. Literally, he pulled his face off. He's holding the remnants of his face and just goes ahead and throws it into the street and discards it. He ends up tossing this thing down a sewer drain, although it doesn't quite make it down there. Gets stuck on the street next to the drain. Sure enough, this woman who's obsessed with the Joker stumbles across this, and she immediately recognizes it. She's in shock and awe as she realizes the Joker's face is just flowing in the sewer gutter. She picks this thing up and decides to start wearing it, calling herself the Joker's daughter, Daddy's girl. She's obsessed with the Joker, and even though she is not related to him in any way, shape, or form, she becomes the modern version of the Joker's daughter. I don't really remember all the details, but somehow the Joker gets his face back, and the Joker's daughter is still running around with something that appears to be the Joker's face. Here's the Joker, with several members of the Bat family invited over for a dinner feast. The theme, to cut off each and every one of their faces for Batman. Batman finally arrives and sees each of his allies with their faces wrapped in bandages He fears the worst. Batman takes off the bandages and realizes it's all a ruse. These aren't even his real allies. And then the Joker comes at Batman with his axe. And as always, they are locked in combat. Here's this Joker doing some stand-up at the local comedy club. And here he is, being admired by some Joker whores, making Harley Quinn jealous. Now let's check him out, next to some other action figures. And before we check him out, next to some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures, let's check him out with the other cut-off face DC Direct Joker figures. Here he is, next to both versions of DC Direct's cut-off face and reattached Joker figures. Which one do you guys think looks better? Drop me a line in the comments below. And here he is, next to my custom version of the Joker's daughter. The Joker's daughter in the comics found the Joker's cut-off face, and she decided to wear it and started referring to herself as the Joker's daughter. And although not really relevant to this story, here's this Joker next to a custom punchline that I have. Hope McFarlane gets around to making one of her. Now let's check him out, next to some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to the Rebirth Joker. Then, next to the Arkham Asylum Joker. And here he is, next to the 3 Jokers Joker figures. Then, next to the Mortal Kombat 11 Joker figures. And now, next to the Dark Knight Returns Joker. And here are all the different Joker figures and variations McFarlane has made so far. The next one I'm aware of is going to be the Joker Dragon, and I'm not able to think of any other Joker figures upcoming that we know about. I'm sure there will be more though. And here he is, next to the McFarlane Harley Quinn figures. Now let's check him out, next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, with a couple of Lex Luthor figures. Then, next to Superboy Prime and Lobo. And here he is, next to the Speed Force Flash from Zack Snyder's Justice League, and the Reverse Flash from DC's Rebirth comics. Then, next to the Batman Beyond, Unmasked Batwoman, and the Atomic Edition of Blight. And here he is, next to the Future State Batman and Dark Detective. Here's this Joker, next to the Rebirth Batman, and the Infinite Frontier Robin. Then, next to the Lois and Clark Superman, and DC Rebirth's General Zod. Here he is, next to DC Rebirth's Martian Manhunter, and Justice League Endless Winter's Aquaman. And now, next to the Batman The Dark Knight Returns, Superman vs. Armored Batman 2-pack. Here's Joker, next to the Gotham Knights wave, still trying to track down the red version of Nightwing and the unpainted Batgirl. And here he is, next to McFarlane's The Batman collection. Then, next to McFarlane's Batman The Dark Knight Returns Collective Build a Horse wave, and with the Batman 3 Jokers wave. And now, with the Justice League Endless Winter Collective Build a Frost King wave. And finally, here's Joker, next to the recently released Mega figures, Titan Joker and Clayface. Here's the Death of the Family Joker, next to an Arkham City Joker with another seriously disfigured face. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, to see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane figure, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect and work my way smaller, and I'm going to include as many Joker figures and Joker henchmen as I can during these comparisons. Since we are checking him out with all the different McFarlane Joker figures, here he is with some other McFarlane lines. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. Then, with some more McFarlane toys, these are from different various video game properties. And now, next to some Jack-specific wrestling figures. And here he is, next to some DST, or Diamond Select toys. Then, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles Joker figures. And here, with some NECA figures. Then, with some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, next to some Jazzwares AEW wrestlers. And here he is, next to some Mezco 112 collective figures. Then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse Joker figures. And here he is, with some Mafex Joker figures. Then, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts Joker figures. And finally, here he is, next to some Jazzworth Fortnite figures. Overall, he's a pretty nice Joker figure, but it's a little bit more of the same. They have definitely used his 3 Jokers Joker body to death. Although they all look quite different, McFarlane did a good job with reuse and pulling it off to make it look different. This guy's accessories, the axe doesn't really do much for me. His articulation is everything you expect from a McFarlane DC Multiverse figure. The sculpt and paint job are great. I don't have any issues there. This is just not my ideal version of the Joker with a cut-off face. I found it to be very gimmicky. That being said, it's still a pretty nice figure, and I'm happy to have a representation of him in my collection. If I were to rate this guy, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Not quite as much of a home run as some of the other recent Joker figures, at least for me personally. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.